Hi, so this is video number 7 for chapter 5. The paper looks a little bit different, but you should have gotten this paper in class, and we're going to go through this together as your notes for this video. So go ahead and put your name on it. So this kind of goes along, it's pulled a little bit from all the sections. It's kind of an extra bonus video. So it starts with saying a proportional graph will always be a straight line. Proportional graphs have to be straight lines, and they have to go through the point 0, 0. So that means it goes through the origin, and it has to be a straight line. We also know that if we check all the points on that graph, so all the points, if I have a graph like this, all of the points along there, if I check them all of those will make equivalent ratios. We know that from what we've done already in this chapter. Proportional, if they're proportional, all the ratios are going to be equivalent. So this first set of examples says, tell whether x and y are proportional. I just have to check all these ratios and see if they are equivalent, if they simplify to the same thing. So 2 over 4, well, that's 1/2. 4 over 6, that is not 1/2. So as soon as I start checking them and see that they're not equivalent, my answer is no. So I'm thinking it's going to be no, but it says use a graph to check it and see. So I'm going to set up a graph. It's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. But if I plot these points, let's see, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, I get something like that. And right here, you can see it doesn't go through 0, 0. So my answer is no, not proportional. How about the next one? Well, 3 over 1, 6 divided by 2, 9 divided by 3. Looks like this one should be. Let's graph it and see. So again, nothing fancy, but I'm going to just plot those points to figure out if they make a straight line and if they go through 0, 0. So x of 3 means I go over 3, up 1, and then over 6, up 2, and then over 9, up 3, should get something like that. And if I connect these, it should make a straight line that does go through 0, 0. And we checked the ratios, they were all equivalent, so this one, my answer is yes, it is proportional. Okay? So now if I want to check these, it doesn't say I have to graph anymore, but I'm going to check all the ratios to see if they're equivalent. I'm going to give you a hint. Your hint, please write this down. Do y over x. When you check your ratios, put y on top. This is going to be really important for the whole rest of the chapter. Y over x. So your tables are usually set up with x and then y. So if I checked all of these, I would type in 90 over 6 in my calculator and see what I get. Okay, that gives me 15. Then I'm going to check 180 divided by 12, 270 divided by 18, 360 divided by 24. So pause and do that quick and write down what you get for each one. So all of those ratios were equivalent. I got 15 for each one. So it says find the rate. Well, this is going to be my rate when I do y over x. So y was money, dollars, and I got $15 per x on the bottom was hours. $15 per hour is my rate. So try this one. Time and distance. Again, this is x, this is y. So I need to check them all. 14.4 divided by 3, 28.8 divided by 6. Check all those and see what you get, and then write the rate down with a label. So pause and do that. So when I checked y over x for each one, they all gave me the same ratio, the same answer. Or they all simplified to the same thing. So I got 4.8 miles per second. 4.8 miles per second. Okay, these ones you can skip. They're out of your book. We'll do them as practice together in class. We're going to move on here to this graph. It says, the graph shows you the distance that you walk. Find your rate in feet per second. So if I want to find the rate from a graph, that's what we're doing in this section, I'm going to still take y over x. That's the big idea here, y over x. So if it's proportional, I can use either point. They give me 2 points here. Pick one. Let's just use the easier numbers. And if I want to do y over x, remember every point is x comma y. So the y value is 11, and I need to label that. Let's see, y over here on this axis is distance in feet. And the x is a 2, and the label here on the x is seconds. And if I want to actually find that rate, 11 feet in 2 seconds, divide them, 11 divided by 2, and I get 5.5 feet per second. That's my rate that I got from looking at the graph. So let's try this one. This one is distance, miles, and minutes. Okay? It says find the rate in miles per minute. So I want miles on top, right? Y divided by x. Miles divided by minutes. So again, pick either point. Let's just use the smaller numbers. The y value here is 1/4, and y is miles. The x is 1/2, and x is minutes. So 1/4 divided by 1/2. So an easy way to simplify that, I could use a calculator. I could kind of do it out. I could do the math, right? 1/4 divided by 1/2. And then multiply by the reciprocal. And that would give me 2/4. If I work out those fractions, so I get 2/4, or that simplifies to 1/2, and miles per minute. So let's do these quick. It says, what is the rate? Well, looking at this graph, I'm going to be finding a rate. I'm always going to do y over x. Y in this case is miles per minute, and it looks like I'm kayaking. So let's find that rate. I can pick any point on here. Let's just use the easier numbers, maybe those. Y is 0.1 miles. X is 1 in 1 minute. So if I divide those, 0.1 divided by 1 is just 0.1. I go 0.1 miles per minute while I'm kayaking. That's the rate. Make sure you have a label on it. What does the point 0, tell us? Well, 0 on the graph means 0 minutes, 0 miles. I kayak 0 miles in 0 minutes. Or you could say in 0 minutes I've gone 0 miles. So what about 3 and 0.3? Same thing, you're just going to read the labels off the graph. The 3 is x, that's minutes. The 0.3 is y, that's miles. So what does this tell us? Well, I kayak 0.3 miles in 3 minutes. Or in 3 minutes, I can go 0.3 miles. Same thing with the next one. 1 and 0.1. Oops, the parentheses should be there. 1 and 0.1. I can go 0.1 miles in 1 minute. So we just have to get used to reading the points from the graph and using the labels that they give us to determine what those mean. If you flip this over on the back, you do not have to finish this side. We'll come back to this and kind of do it as practice. So ignore the back. Okay, but this video continues on to this sheet. It says target 10, points on a graph. So we're going to keep going and do a little bit of this for practice. This is all still part of the same video, these two sheets together. So it says, what does the point 211 mean? Well, again, this is just reading the points from the graph. If I look at the labels, the 2 is the x, so it is time. The 11 is the y, so it is distance in feet. So 211 means, let's see, I'm walking here. In 2 seconds, I walk 11 feet. 0. Well, here on the graph, 0 would mean in 0 seconds, I go 0 distance, 0 feet. I walk 0 feet in 0 seconds. Or in 0 seconds, I can go 0 feet. So here's the new question. How far could I walk in 6 seconds? So that my graph doesn't go that high. Here's 6 seconds. If I tried to figure that out, I don't know what I get up there. It's cut off. But I can use a proportion here. Okay? So let's take the point I do know, 11 feet in 2 seconds, and set up a proportion. How far can I go I don't know. That's my x, my variable. How far can I go? In 6 seconds. So here's where you get the choice. You could cross multiply, or maybe you see something easy in your head. If you notice, like, hey, this just got multiplied by 3, so this is going to get multiplied by 3. 11 times 3, okay, I can go 33, that should say 33 feet in 6 seconds. So proportion can help you find that answer. All right, how would you use these points to find the unit rate? Well, if I know a point like this on a proportional graph, again, I can go back to y over x, y divided by x, to find the unit rate. So let's do that. Y was 11 feet, x was 2 seconds, and if I divide those, 11 divided by 2, I get 5.5 feet per second. That's my unit rate. Okay. This next part says, what point on the graph tells us the unit rate? Well, because a unit rate has already been divided, like this unit rate means 5.5 feet in 1 second, I would look for the point on the graph that's at 1. 1 second, 5.5 feet. This point on the graph, in fact, we're going to write it down like this. 1 comma, wherever you're at 1, that y value will be your rate. So we'll do more practice and example with this, but that's kind of a rule that we're going to follow. 1 comma, and then this number would be your rate. Okay? I want you to skip to here. Now we're going to be looking at this graph with earnings and hours, so how much money you make. And it says find your and your friend's rates. So let's do you first. You are the top line here. So this purple line with the triangles on it. Remember, if I want to find the rate from a graph, I just do y over x. Still, keep doing y over x. So let's pick any point. Y, 45. Whoops. Y over x. 45. And 45 is dollars. Over x, which is hours, 3 hours, and divide them. 45 divided by 3 should give you $15 an hour. That's you. How about your friend? So the other line, if I go down to the other line, your friend, and use this point, y over x, would be $40 in 4 hours. So they make, if I divide that, $10 an hour. So those are your 2 unit rates, right? This is you, that's your friend. Who gets paid better? And how can we tell from looking at the graph? Well, you make $15 an hour. That's better. You do. How can you tell from looking at the graph? Well, one way to tell is by the steepness of this line. Okay, sorry, we're back. If I look at the lines, this line is steeper. We call it steeper, like think of a hill. It would be a steeper climb going up that line. A steeper line is going to be a bigger rate. So by looking at the steeper line, I know that has a bigger rate, and that means that person is earning more dollars per hour in this case. Okay? So that's all we're going to do together right now. This sheet will be homework. I am not going to put the answers up right now, but you can try them as practice. If not, you're going to have to do it together in class with us if you want to do a few now and come back and check it. Or you can just stop here, save it, bring it back, and we'll finish this up together. Okay? All right. Thanks.